What's going on, everybody? It's Ryan, Mr. E, over here from the Hair Lab. Tonight I'm going to talk about some finishing techniques. Okay, and this is some of the stuff that we'll be doing in some of these classes. This will be a quick little snippet. But to me, there's three parts to a haircut, right? You have the start of a haircut, and there's some certain things that fall in that category. You have the actual haircut itself, right? So that's self-explanatory. That's just doing the haircut, and then finishing the haircut. It's easy to do a haircut and just slap some gel in there and send people out the door. But over the years of experience I have, when people come to you, they tell me that they have a hard time doing their own hair when they get home. So a couple finishing techniques and a couple extra minutes will help your retention, and it's going to ensure that the client, when they go home, can do their hair and it's maintainable for them. Okay? Because sometimes we could be magicians in here, but you can't fool the customer, only for a little bit, maybe one or two haircuts that'll work. So this mannequin was pre-cut. I'm gonna put a little bit of mousse in here. Okay. And the mousse, when you dry it out at the end and we finish it, is gonna hold everything nice and tight. So this way, we'll be able to see exactly what's off in the haircut and be able to finish the haircut the right way, the correct way. So that being said, our mannequin's a little bit off right here. What do we got? We got a Deborah, we got a Dylan, we got a Deborah that's been cut down short. So I guess you see a little cutting technique here too, a little scissor over comb. I'm going to come in here and even this up a little bit here. Because if you're not finishing your haircuts, you're not really getting to see the true value of your work. Okay, when you take that much time, if you take enough time and you put it into your haircut, you want to be able to see the value of your work. I do a lot of scissor over comb work. Okay, so we even this out. You know, sometimes you can cut it with gel. Sometimes you could just cut it with water and dry it out a little bit. And that looks pretty good, you know, for the most part. You could send somebody out like that. But I want to make sure people are always coming back to me. And I'm going to ensure that through the process of the way that I cut hair. So. One of your finishing techniques will be to put a little mousse in there. Even if you want to cut it with water, and then put a little bit of mousse in there after, just to hold it, to get the canvas that you need when you're finishing. Okay. High heat. The blow dryer is chasing your brush. Okay. Extremely important. You can't be blow drying up here like this. The heat is not hitting anything but the ceiling. Okay. We need the heat to hit the hair. Okay. So it's almost 1, 2, 3, and you're out. 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 So again, I don't want this guy to just look good. I want him to look great, okay? Because that's going to ensure he's coming back to my chair. A lot of people can do a lot of these haircuts and kind of mimic them. What's going to make the difference between you going back to somebody else's barbershop and coming back to this barbershop, okay? You have to give them a process that they never had before. So that being said, I trimmed the top down, okay? Could have slapped some gel in there and sent them out, but there's some things that are uneven. So I'm going to come with a flat top comb. And I'm going to look at my angles here. And anything that my eye catches, that my eye sees, I'm going to clean that up. I want to make sure this gentleman right here has the best experience possible, the best haircut that I could give him, from what he told me in the beginning. And you want to make sure he has a great experience and, you know, hopefully comes back to us. You can never really insure it. You always have to do your best, but people always tell me how much they have a hard time of getting the same haircut twice. So your consistency is key, and your finishing techniques at the end is gonna be key too. Okay, so I blended in what I wanted to blend in. I'm gonna clean that up a little bit. Blow some of that hair out. Okay. Now, with this haircut coming flat back like that, you can almost still see some of the hair sticking up. And that's what the mousse is going to do. If you put the mousse in there and blow dry it, whatever's uneven at the end is going to stick straight up like that. Okay? And it's going to have a little bit of a hole to it. So, depending on where you are, I'm going to freehand some of these little extra hairs right here. Now, some people may be able to do the freehand thing already. You have to have a tough wrist, you know. And this is something you could practice at home on a mannequin or even without the mannequin. One of the ways I got really good with my tools was by practicing with just the tool in my hand. When I wasn't cutting anybody's hair, I would have these tools in my hand because I wanted to be like the other barbers so bad that I had to get comfortable. So that's for a whole nother class, okay? Just learning your tools, learning how to hold your tools properly. That's more of a beginner's class, obviously, but that's a whole nother class. So if we're at this point right now where you're good and you're cutting and you're doing finishing techniques, okay? A little mousse, a little bit of extra love and care at the end of the haircut goes a long way for your pocket and most of all for your customer. And I feel like if you do this just for the money, well, you're gonna get that kind of result. But if you do it for the customer, the money's gonna follow you. And I'm 100% a believer of that, okay? Okay, so 3 parts to a haircut. The beginning of the haircut, okay, and that consists of a few things. And that'll be another class, obviously. And you have the actual haircut itself. And then this is just a finishing technique. That mannequin was cut pretty much from the beginning. I just put a few finishing touches on there, okay? And as we get here in our camera and our silhouette, we can start to see that we took that haircut from something that was good, but now we're trying to make it great. And we're trying to make it better, okay? Beautiful. Now, if I look in the front here of my mannequin, everything comes back very nice, smooth. But it's a little heavy in the front, and it might be a little hard to see from because it's on a mannequin, but it's a little heavy in the front. Okay? So we're going to come in with our thinning shears, blending shears, okay? We're removing weight. So if we're removing weight, we're going to be staying closer to the scalp, okay? When we're blending, you'll be staying closer to the ends. Depending on which scissor you use, how sharp they are, there's a few things that go into it. But just to lighten off and do a little finishing technique, I'm gonna run my thinning shears through the top, okay? Coming forward and blending a little bit from the top. Then I'm gonna come in right at the root and make a few pops right there, a few snips, and lighten up that front, okay? Same thing right here on this side. It's a little heavy in the front. So I'm gonna come with my blending shears. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna soften some of this stuff up. So, some of these videos aren't full blown. I would love to show you how to get all the way from the fade to the top. This is just one process of the haircut, just finishing. There's a lot of things that go into a haircut, and we have to get these haircuts done anywhere from a half hour to 45 minutes to an hour, whatever the case may be. And there's really no room for an error as a barber, right? Nobody wants a bad haircut. You almost have to be damn near perfect all day, every day. So that being said, if you have a good system, you have some good finishing techniques, and you do them over and over, and you stay true to what you're doing, you'll have the same result every time. Your clients will be retained, okay? They will come back to you every time, and you got to give them top quality service every time, okay? So that's a few little finishing techniques right there. Just a blow dryer and a clipper. Okay, from that, we could come here and grab whatever product you want to use. Right now, I've been using this stuff almost 20 years. If you're a barber, you know the Eco Stylist the best. Right. So I'm gonna take a little eco in here. Wipe down real quick. Okay. So with just a little bit of extra love and care and a few finishing techniques, okay, you can achieve so much more through the process than just giving them a quick fade and slapping some gel in there, and then they get home, it's uneven here and it's uneven here. With a little bit of extra love, that can affect your pocket, and you could really, really change somebody's day and change their whole perspective on a lot of things just by giving them an experience that they've never had. So thank you for being here. Just a couple quick finishing touches, and I'll be back with more. So thank you. Stay tuned.